So I finally got around to watching the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I wanted to make a video talking about my general thoughts on it and where I think Nintendo should go next when it comes to using their IP for movies. Don't worry, this will be a spoiler-free video. First off, this movie is once again wildly successful. It's going to be one of the best performing movies of the year from a box office perspective. And that leaves no doubt in my mind that Nintendo will not slow down anytime soon when it comes to taking advantage of their IP with new films. But despite how well this movie is performing, it's actually been received pretty poorly by critics. And in typical fashion for movies like this, the audience scores are significantly higher than the critic scores. After watching this movie, I can tell you I definitely understand why that turned out to be the case. This movie feels like eating junk food, but for your eyes and ears. And what I mean by that is if you're a Nintendo fan or a Mario fan, you are going to have a sensory overload of both visual and auditory references in the best way. Of course, there isn't much depth here at all, but you're probably going to be too busy pointing at the screen every second to not even really care much about the actual story or plot. Of course, this also means that if you're not a Nintendo fan, you're probably going to feel like this movie is an absolute mess. And I feel like that lines up pretty perfectly with the spread between critic and audience scores. Now, I think that can be taken one of two ways. Do I wish the story, characters, plot, and world were fleshed out and coherent in a way that could make for a compelling narrative? Yeah, of course, absolutely. But this movie is also one where if you are a Nintendo fan, a Mario fan in particular, there is so much here. You are going to find little details everywhere. Everything is either an inside joke or a specific reference for fans. Honestly, I can't even imagine what the experience of watching this movie would be like if you didn't know anything about Mario. It feels like there's very little explanation for why things are happening on the screen. Everything is just, let's throw this character in front of you, and if you're a Mario fan and you know who that is, it's going to mean something to you. If you don't, you're going to be confused, and that's okay. That's the essence of what this movie is. But if you look at it from the flip side, if you are a Mario fan, there's so much attention to detail here, and the level of care and knowledge and the depths of the fandom they go to with some of these references is really incredible. I don't want to spoil anything, but for someone like me who really likes Mario and has put hundreds of hours into Mario games over the years, there are references here that when I saw them and recognized what they were doing, it just blew my mind that this even made it into the movie. And for that reason, overall, this movie was a thoroughly enjoyable viewing experience for someone like me. I had a blast, I had a great time. But by no means was this because I thought this was a quote-unquote good movie. But I do think it will be a fun time for Mario fans. That's the best way I can describe it. Anyway, that's enough about the movie overall, but here's the bigger thing I wanted to talk about. As I was watching this movie, the thing running through my head was, where could they go from here? I know we already have a live-action Zelda movie coming up, and as much as I really like Zelda and I'm excited to see a live-action adaptation, my expectations are definitely tempered. With both of the Mario movies, it seems to me Nintendo is more interested in making fun movies that are broadly appealing and will sell tickets, rather than trying to showcase brilliant storytelling or world building. But that made me think about where Nintendo should go next. And with the cameos in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, I think it's easy to have your mind run towards some kind of Nintendo crossovers where a bunch of different characters from different Nintendo franchises appear on screen at the same time. Of course, I think that would be great and I would be excited to see something like that. But I would also hope that we could get some kind of adaptation of Nintendo IP that wasn't, just quote-unquote junk food. At first, I thought about how when you think of Nintendo games, do you really feel like the thing you're drawn to is the story or narrative? That's just not what Nintendo games are really about. Generally speaking, not across the board, but generally it's more about the gameplay and the characters. They're fun. That's ultimately what Nintendo optimizes for. They optimize for having fun. And that makes perfect sense for games. But after I thought about it more, I feel like maybe I'm selling the opportunities here a bit short. The more I dug into it, the more I feel like there are actually a lot of games and franchises that could make for really compelling movie adaptations. I don't know why, but the first one that came to mind for me was actually Link's Awakening. I think that the story, world, and characters of that game are actually really compelling, and I think would make for a great film adaptation. Or even something like Fire Emblem, I think would be really cool. Like a film or series adaptation of Three Houses would be great. Metroid would also be another good pick. It has a great universe and atmosphere that I think could really translate well to film. And one wildcard pick that I think would actually be really cool would be Paper Mario. Anyways, my point here is that I think it's great that Nintendo is finally deciding to put more emphasis towards bringing their IPs to the big screen. I'm just hoping that they can somehow take these beloved franchises and IPs and do more than just make something that's flash over substance. Do I think that's the direction they're gonna go? No, unfortunately, probably not. Both Mario movies have been very successful, and I don't see much reason they would want to steer away from a formula that's clearly making them a lot of money. But hey, as a longtime Nintendo fan, I'll probably end up watching and enjoying whatever they put out. But in the future, I hope that they can go a bit further with their adaptations, because I really do think that there's more to the source material than it seems at first glance. But I don't know, tell me what you think. Where do you hope Nintendo goes next with their movie adaptations? Is there a movie or franchise that you're hoping to see? Like I said, my vote right now would probably go to Link's Awakening, but let me know in the comments what you think. Alright, that'll do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like, it really helps the channel. Subscribe to help me get to 1,000 subs. And thanks again, and see you in the next one. Cheers.